Good evening and welcome to this year's 10 on Your Side Year-Ender Special. I'm Shannon Powell.
And I'm Andy Fox, and we are here on the banks of the Elizabeth River on a cold December night.
Cold, I would agree.
It's a good word, but we're glad we're here. We're glad you're here. You know, 2003 has been an unforgettable year, from scams and rip-offs to Hurricane Isabel to 2 national sniper trials, and of course breaking news, and we've been there through it all.
We've investigated, we've confronted, and we've answered a number of questions. So sit back and relax and take a look at 2003. And this year, just like last year, war was the biggest story of the year. Men and women from right here in Hampton Roads, Andy, they left their homes and they went off to fight the war.
Yeah, Wavy News 10 went by air, land, and sea with local troops to bring you the latest information. Here's Wavy News 10 anchor Les Smith.
Once again, men and women from Hampton Roads answered a dangerous call in a far-off and dangerous part of the world. We'll have a closer look at exactly what their role was in just a moment. But think back to this time last year. We were at war in Afghanistan and talking about going to war with Iraq. Well, now we are at war in both.
We got him.
This is the enduring image of the war on terror for 2003. Saddam Hussein, once a defiant dictator, now simply a dirty and disheveled one. Hussein's capture was a dramatic and perhaps pivotal moment in the war, but President Bush warned nowhere near its end.
The terrorists in Iraq remain dangerous. The work of our coalition remains difficult and will require further sacrifice. Yet it should now be clear to all, Iraq is on the path to freedom.
That path began in March when the U.S. led the fight to overthrow Hussein. In fact, U.S. intelligence thought they had Hussein the first night of the war. Missiles, including those fired from the Norfolk-based USS Donald Cook, hit a compound where Hussein was believed to be hiding. Televised as never before, Americans saw in real time U.S. troops rolling across the Iraqi desert and eventually into Baghdad. The war came home to Hampton Roads when Chesapeake native David Williams was taken prisoner of war after his helicopter was shot down. He was eventually rescued by American troops. Winning the war turned out to be quick. Winning the peace turned out to be costly. When President Bush declared major combat over on May 1st, just under 140 Americans had been killed in Iraq. Since then, another 300 have died. Iraqi insurgents waged a new war, car bombs, guerrilla attacks. Nearly every day there was another reminder that Iraq remained a dangerous place. And although it receded into the background, Afghanistan was also on the military's radar. The hunt for Osama bin Laden continued. Troops painstakingly searching the rugged region between Afghanistan and Pakistan. But Hussein's capture gave hope to those trying to put together a new Afghan government.
Criminals cannot hide forever, and Saddam Hussein's capture proved that. Sooner or later, Osama and Mullah Omar will also be found.
The war on terror, begun with the September 11th attacks on U.S. soil, now stretches around the world. It has worn many faces. U.S. military personnel, swiftly and surely defeating a known enemy in Iraq, only to face a new and shadowy one. An elusive terrorist, still in hiding. A former POW, home to a hero's welcome in Hampton Roads. And the year that began with Saddam Hussein as a brutal dictator ends with him unable to dictate even his own future.
Military action in Iraq is long from over, but look to 10 on your side for all the latest developments in the battles involving our military personnel. Speaking of battles, legal battles, the sniper trials, national attention right here in Hampton Roads.
Last year, people were glued to their televisions as these so-called snipers terrorized people up and down the East Coast. We've had continuous team coverage throughout the Muhammad and Malvo trials from the very beginning. Here's Lowell Meltzer with an in-depth look into the sniper trials.
It was a media frenzy. Television stations from all across the country sent reporters to cover the trials. And from the beginning, 10 on Your Side was there with team coverage. Also from the beginning, the families wanted justice.
We believe that the wheels of justice will come up with the appropriate verdict.
John Allen Muhammad was on trial for killing Dean Myers at a gas station in early October 2002 near Manassas. After weeks of testimony from witnesses for both the prosecution and the defense and 5.5 hours of deliberations, the Virginia Beach jury found Muhammad guilty of capital murder.
There'll always be a wound that relates to my brother's death.
It proved to be a long road for the surviving sniper victims and families of those who were killed, some of them testifying in Lee Boyd Malvo's trial in Chesapeake as well. William Franklin, whose wife was killed at a Home Depot in Falls Church, Virginia, took the stand for a second time. It was his emotional 911 call after his wife Linda Franklin was killed that brought tears to the eyes of jury members. While Muhammad claimed he was innocent, Malvo's defense was much different. The prosecution said the teen was a monster who confessed to being the trigger man. But his lawyers say Malvo moved from place to place as a child and longed for a father figure. They say Muhammad brainwashed him so severely that Malvo was insane at the time of the shootings.
It doesn't take a huge leap to go from a person who is your son to a person who is your child soldier.
The jury disagreed, and after 13.5 hours of deliberation, found Lee Boyd Malvo guilty of capital murder in the shooting death of FBI analyst Linda Franklin. Both Muhammad and Malvo were charged with 2 counts of capital murder. With an in-depth look at the sniper trials, I'm Lowell Meltzer, 10 on Your Side.
These are the first of several trials that Muhammad and Malvo may face. They could be tried for the deaths of several other people killed during the shooting spree.
Coming up, dramatic video of Hurricane Isabel, and 10 on Your Side takes a personal look at military life and the war. But first, Chopper 10 gets you closer.
Would come face to face
Live
with the man.
coverage and breaking news next.
Welcome back. As part of our commitment to you, 10 on Your Side is there to bring you live, late-breaking news as it happens.
In keeping with that 10 on Your Side tradition, 2003 was a year we kept our crews on the air, bringing you the latest information on major events affecting the world, the nation, the state, Hampton Roads, and your neighborhoods.
Wavy News 10's Kay Young has the stories that we brought you live from the station on your side.
You're watching Wavy News 10.
We begin tonight with breaking news concerning a gruesome discovery on the Eastern Shore.
Wavy News 10's Kay Young joins us live now with all the details. Kay?
In 2003, 10 on Your Side was live with some difficult and unforgettable stories. You saw many of them as they unfolded.
Now, late this afternoon, police identified the body as Sister Philomena Fogarty. Police have multiple charges now pending against Robinson. Anyone with information is asked to call the FBI, the Norfolk Police, or the crime line.
We were there right after this hit-and-run crash.
As you said, all 3 people here at Centera, Norfolk that were involved in this accident. Here's what happened.
The 16-year-old involved in the hit-and-run accident that we've been talking about all morning has passed away.
At times, it seemed the region experienced more than its share of tragedy.
And we're still gathering details. Officers still out here working this investigation.
But it's outside of the bar that Officer Sheila Herring-Patrick would come face-to-face with the man police say killed her.
But together, we walked through the loss of 2 police officers killed in the line of duty. Our crews were there as neighbors watched Newport News firefighters battle this blaze. We stayed as you supported the young mother who'd lost 2 daughters. We shared the grief felt around the world when the space shuttle Columbia broke apart over Texas. killing all 7 astronauts, including a local hero.
It was around this time as a gymnast that Dave really came out of his shell and taught himself and others to follow their dreams.
Each day, with state-of-the-art technology, we're able to bring you information anytime from anywhere. We're on the road around the clock so we can keep our commitment to you, providing news about our world and communities live from the station on your side. I'm Kay Young.
As we prepare for another new year, Wavy News 10 is committed and will continue to bring you the very latest news as it happens. And sometimes that means going to unbelievable heights.
That's right. Chopper 10 has had some unforgettable moments. Pilot John Massey and photographer Tom Marks were there when we needed them most, bringing us riveting video over the last 365 days. Derek Wing takes a look back.
Well, good evening, everyone. You know, very few people ever get the chance to experience what it's like to be where I am right now, sitting inside Chopper 10. But the images that it provided to us this year gave us all a ride that we won't soon forget.
Chopper 10, the H-60 is not real familiar with Norfolk General.
Roger that. If he wants to just come on out, I'll take him right to him.
Happy to help whenever we can. That's what it means to be on your side.
On your side. It's what Wavy News and Chopper 10 are all about. A perfect example, this scene back in July when a C-130 experienced turbulence in the air and had to make an emergency landing at Naval Air Station Oceana. More on that dramatic story a little later in the piece. Chopper 10 was also there in September, just days after Hurricane Isabel struck Hampton Roads and northeast North Carolina with full force.
There's a lot of damage everywhere we look. There's no power virtually anywhere in the Hampton Roads area.
In the aftermath, for those lucky enough to have power, this is what you saw. The first pictures of the damage, more than 44 million gallons of water flooding the Midtown Tunnel that connects Portsmouth and Norfolk, creating a traffic nightmare that would take nearly a month to fix. But that wasn't the only hurricane devastation Chopper 10 showed us. It also gave us shots of homes just flattened in Elizabeth City, roads that looked more like rivers and Sandbridge, and the cleanup effort at Chicks Beach. And speaking of Chicks Beach, who could forget these pictures Chopper 10 captured just a few weeks ago? Flames tearing through 7 waterfront homes in early December, burning even the skeletal remains of the buildings until there was nothing left. But it wasn't all bad news in 2003. In August, Chopper 10 was there at the beginning, middle, and end of the Rock and Roll Half Marathon in Virginia Beach. Exclusive pictures of the race from the air. Thousands of runners pounding the pavement in one of the most prestigious half marathons in the country. And as promised, that C-130 landing. Chopper 10 doing what it does best, helping out in a time of need.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate the help. Backup was great. Anytime. It's off a little bit, and you got us right on there as quickly as possible. Thanks. No problem, sir. Anytime.
A great year for Chopper 10, with more to come in 2004. Derek Wing, Wavy News 10.
In 2003, Chopper 10 flew about 550 hours, using more than 20,000 gallons of fuel. But it was all worth it to be on your side.
A little later, Renters' Rights.
That's nasty.
10 on Your Side investigates and confronts the issues to get you answers. Don't go away. Hurricane Isabel ripped through Hampton Roads. Those unbelievable pictures. Next. Welcome back. In 2003, 10 on Your Side's weather team was really busy. When Hampton Roads expected its first snowfall of the year, Super Doppler 10 predicted when it would start and how much we'd get.
And when Hurricane Isabel was approaching, 10 on Your Side was there, keeping you updated throughout the entire storm, minute by minute. Don Slater has a recap of some unforgettable weather moments.
Nature taking its course.
This past January was very much colder than usual, with 7 days of at least some snowfall. January 6th saw 1.8 inches of snow, and it snowed every day between the 14th and 17th. April wasn't so quiet weather-wise, largely due to 6 straight days of rain between the 7th and 12th. Those 6 days alone produced nearly 5 inches of rain.
I've heard lightning strike outside.
Then came July. On the 9th, we hit 98 degrees before thunderstorms rolled in with 68-mile-an-hour winds and 1 1/3 inches of rain.
These are the worst winds we've seen, the worst rain, the worst flooding.
And then there was September and Isabel. course, July and August had been unusually wet. All of this previous rainfall loosened the soil surrounding tree roots and set the stage for the massive amounts of tree damage during Isabel. Tropical storm force winds of 35 mile an hour began early in the morning of the 18th and built to 75 to 90 mile per hour hurricane strength by around noon into the Hampton Roads cities, peaking in the late afternoon. Essentially, we had Category 1 winds for a long time, but Category 2 flooding for a long time, too. The Outer Banks suffered huge losses, historic proportions. Damage was heavy in Elizabeth City. And the day after, it became evident that isolated communities along the James and the York Rivers had near total devastation. September and Isabel were historic. November was an unusually mild one. There was only one day with significant rain. That was on the 19th. But more importantly, we had 45 mile an hour winds, resulting in more power outages due to already damaged trees. And finally, we're winding up the year with December, likely to be well above average for precipitation, putting the year's precipitation at over 60 inches, one of the wettest years on record. Even without the ravages of Hurricane Isabel, 2003 has been one of the wildest weather years that I can remember.
Of course, the most unforgettable weather story of the year, Hurricane Isabel, and when old Izzy ripped through Hampton Roads. 10 on Your Side was there to bring you the latest information.
Now, we worked around the clock, non-stop radio and television coverage. Take a look at this video. Our own general manager, Ed Munson, and assignment editor Jeff Becker rescued a man whose car was being swept away by Isabel. Carrie Madsen has more on team coverage of Hurricane Isabel.
Photographer Walter Hildebrand and I having a hard time holding on here. We're going to go right out to the surf if we can. You can see it is coming up. We're close to Rudy Inlet.
Our crews were battered from the ocean front to the peninsula and all along the Outer Banks.
And they push in more. Look out! Look out! More debris. This is not a safe place for me to be.
We stayed on the air around the clock. Even the Wavy itself was threatened by rising water.
Our studio is located very close to the Elizabeth River. People are madly lifting stuff up off the floor, moving things to the second floor. At some point, it may become necessary for us to leave this building, but we're going to continue to broadcast.
As the numbers of people without power grew from hundreds to thousands to more than 1 million, we teamed up with our radio partners to keep the information coming out.
You can hear our coverage on several different radio stations throughout the area.
And while the information flowed, so did the water, surf crashing in, rain pouring down. One of the first areas to flood, our volunteer hotlines with your phone calls.
You're welcome. Bye.
The storm was its worst in the afternoon of September 18th. That night brought quiet and darkness.
Nobody has power, so we might as well all hang out together and be miserable together, I guess.
First light September 19th, the day after. Chopper 10 takes a first look at the aftermath. It wasn't just about what you could see, but what you could not.
The Harrison Pier that used to be there is completely gone. That's been spread out all the way down along the Willoughby Spit.
I just found this wood along the beach. It's like wood from Harrison's fishing pier.
Landmarks gone, houses demolished, planes flipped over, trees trapping people in their homes, blocking them from leaving their neighborhood.
We have nothing, no home, no nothing, no furniture, no nothing. Everything's just gone.
On the Outer Banks, Hatteras Village cut off, it seemed, from the rest of the world.
This is the middle of the breach or the inlet or whatever you want to call it. It's about a quarter mile across and it's 28 feet deep. And I'll tell you, it's going to take a lot of money and it's going to take a lot of time to fix.
Picking up the pieces, first you've got to be able to find the pieces.
This is the roof to the restaurant, and that's part of the roof over there.
Well, it's just absolutely devastating. You know, I don't know if I'll get back in business this year or not.
So many people battered by the storm, but none beaten. Material things crushed, but not spirits. Everywhere we found people determined to recover, even if it was an uphill battle. Carrie Matson, Wavy News 10.
For some, it would be weeks before the power came back on. A little later in our special, we'll show you how 10 on Your Side teamed up with our viewers to help those in need.
10 on Your Side gets results.
Thank you very much.
Success stories coming up and Week of Front Road Rebels.
Roll down the window.
But first, 10 on Your Side investigates and exposes government waste.
We've got to make this thing work.
You paid for this. Up next. And welcome back, everyone. The Elizabeth River Ferry. Isn't it great to live here in Hampton Roads? You know, 10 on Your Side had some unforgettable investigations in 2003.
Like when some inspiring models felt that they had been ripped off, we went undercover and we got some answers. With that story and others that impacted us in 2003, here's Mary Kay Maloney.
They kind of look you over. They tell you, you know, turn to the left, turn to the right. Let me see all your teeth. They look at your skin. They look at your hair.
3 local women who say they were tricked into believing they were going to be models through a local modeling agency called Transcontinental Wilhelmina. We took our hidden cameras inside the Norfolk agency after the girls told us they were approached on the street by supposed agents.
How beautiful you are, how good you look, and they know that it's possible for you to make a lot of money.
But they say their big modeling careers never came through. So we confronted the agency at its Granby Street office.
You can't give us basic information about what you guys are doing here?
Like I said, I'm not the best person to talk to as far as getting that information. We'd be happy to put you in touch with the right person from our corporate office. We'd be glad to give you any information that you'd like.
On to another hidden camera investigation. We went into local stores like this one in Virginia Beach and found some were selling bad baby formula, dangerously expired.
What do you see there?
July 2002.
We knew expired baby formula can make infants very sick, and it's missing the crucial nutrients babies need to grow. So we kept looking and found another store, this one in Portsmouth, selling bad baby formula.
They're all expired.
This one I got expired already.
Do you know when it expired?
This is expired. This is not good.
Next, a heartbreaking 10 on Your Side investigation into adoption lies and bogus birth mothers.
Everyone was afraid to even tell me they were pregnant. You know, I'd cry myself to sleep every night.
Frank and Tina Kotnick in New York City had struggled for 18 years to have a baby of their own. So when this Norfolk teenager, Ashley, responded to the Kotnicks' adoption ad and claimed to be a scared 18-year-old with an unwanted pregnancy, she promised to give Frank and Tina the baby she was carrying. But after several trips from New York City to Norfolk to visit the girl, after emails and letters from Ashley, like this one, Tina, I can't say I know how it feels not to be able to have kids, but I hope that when you look into the eyes of this baby, you will feel as if it was yours. The Kotnicks say they found out it was all a lie. Ashley was never pregnant.
Evil. Evil.
And this Norfolk adoption attorney says Ashley was deceiving several other couples locally.
We would get information that she had contacted them, that she wanted to meet with them.
We finally got a hold of Ashley on the phone.
Are the cops going to come after me because something that I did when I was, 16 years old? That's my main part that I'm kind of worried about.
The Kotnicks, who now have adopted a beautiful little boy, say they were hoping other desperate couples would be spared the pain of Ashley's deception by watching our 10 on Your Side investigation. I'm Mary Kay Maloney, 10 on Your Side.
In the coming year, you can count on 10 on Your Side to investigate the facts, uncover the truth, and get you answers. Now, in 2003, 10 on Your Side uncovered government waste of your tax dollars in You Paid for This.
It was a brand new franchise that examined how we spent $20 million to teach people how to use the new $20 bill.
Here's You Paid for This, 2003.
Our very first You Paid for This from the cradle of American history, Jamestown. Every time you renew state license plates, you pay $1 to the Virginia 400th anniversary fee, funding the big 2007 celebration. State Delegate Johnny Joanno outraged.
If government takes it, that's a tax. I don't care, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it is a duck. And this is a tax.
Your dollars add up, $20 million to fund the party.
Hip, hip, hooray, NRHA.
Talking about NRHA, realtor Judy Boone loves them. NRHA paid $685,000 to the Sundance apartment owners, then immediately sold it to Judy Boone without public debate or public auction for $357,000.
Looks like a loss of about $330,000 there.
To the taxpayers.
That's right, and you and I paid it.
Realtor David Nimmer would consider buying the land for more, but couldn't because Judy Boone got the one and only offer. So critics who say NRHA is just throwing away taxpayers' money.
You know, that's all I've got to say.
Oh, the new 20. Yeah.
You taxpayers paid $33 million for the new ad campaign telling you about the new $20 bill.
I'm angry because somebody is feeding at the public trough and getting rich by doing it.
Special education advocate Mark Jacobs says you are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Reed Smith Law Firm in Richmond to represent your school boards. Newport News paid $49,000 for one case. Where are the city and county attorneys already on your payroll? Where are they? Are you concerned that it's not running now?
Well, I'm embarrassed, but it's not because of anything that we've had a chance to do.
And finally, the Magnetic Levitation Transportation System, or MagLev, on the ODU campus is dead in its tracks. They can't get it to work. After $16 million, $9 million of it, your tax dollars. And this warning from ODU's Vice President for Research, Dr. Bob Ash.
Tearing it down is certainly one option. We've got to make this thing work.
Look for more You Paid for This stories in 2004. And if you know how your tax dollars are getting wasted, will you contact us at the station?
So get your pen and paper now because we'll give you the address a little later in the special. Coming up, a personal look into the military life and the best part of covering the war, homecomings a little later. But first,
I didn't know what my rights were.
10 on Your Side takes on renters' rights, and road warrior Andy Fox exposes those violating the law. Road Rebels is next. Okay, Road Rebels and 10 on Your Side go hand in hand. Andy, what is this, your 9th year of chasing rebels?
Chasing them, and we're catching a few. In the year 2003, we ran harder and faster and smarter to capture some memorable moments in 2003.
Here are some unforgettable Road Rebel moments.
Wow, would you look at that? We begin with last July's yearly special, Primetime Road Rebels, 24 hours on the road. One of the many memorable moments, a fallen drive shaft, a punctured gas tank, a spark, and, well, you know what happened next.
Road Rebels, Andy Fox is after you.
Who could forget 5-year-old Joseph Maniscalco III? I shall call him Mini-Me.
Dude, that's ran a stop sign.
Hey!
Hey! Hey!
Hey!
Hey! Hey! Rob, did you get it?
Who are you, Andy? Yes, on this day, Joseph was.
I'm Andy Fox.
For 9 years, we've depended on your calls and complaints. Sometimes we just find stories unexpectedly, like this sailor running a red light, driving the boss's car, confronted by Road Rebel photographer Rob Rizzo.
You're from Tennessee, aren't you?
No, I'm actually from Kentucky. This is my Chiefs car.
Oh, your Chiefs car. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You know you just ran a red light?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Sometimes we chase emergency vehicles who lead us to the story.
They don't want to be on TV. Don't put them on TV, please.
They don't want to be on TV because they just drove this car into this house. What would you like to say to the homeowner?
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's marijuana. That's illegal.
We found marijuana, ganja, growing in Ocean View under a stop sign. We called the cops who struck down the Mary Jane. But we end with our favorite Road Rebel moment of the year, chasing the parking ticket lady through Norfolk after we found her buggy parked in a no parking zone. She saw us, dodged the camera, and the foot chase was on. Don't run! Come here! You're illegally parked in a no parking zone! She's getting away! She's ducking into the mall! You can catch Road Rebels every Thursday at 5:30 right here on Wavy TV 10.
Now, bad drivers, we chase them down on the road, but those who take advantage of others, well, 10 on Your Side, we confront them face to face.
It's not always easy, but Wavy News 10's Nicole Livas shows you how sometimes we are forced to confront people to get answers.
It's illegal in the state of Virginia, but these prostitutes don't seem to care in Port Norfolk.
Out my face! When I'm saying that, I will punch you in your face. I'm telling you 1, 3 times. Okay? If I tell you one more time, I'm gonna punch you dead in your shit.
You can see these teen boys dressed as women did not like Andy Fox's questions when he confronted them about their line of work.
About to make sure.
He survived that attack and went after other ladies of the night. 10 on Your Side also exposed the actions of a Newport newsman infamous for rent-to-own schemes.
Why are you taking money from people and not renting the houses or selling the houses to them?
If the deals don't go through, they don't go through.
Shannon Powell confronted him after a complaint from Annette White.
I'm being taken for a ride, and I'm very surprised because he is a licensed agent.
He took $2,000 from Takesha Watkins the year before, and when asked why
do people keep scamming me?
So you take their money and they're scamming you?
The people are scamming themselves.
Do you shred documents here?
What happens is they put things in a storage unit, so I'm not sure why this happened.
Also in October, we confronted the owners of Berg Legal Clinic in Chesapeake after boxes of private documents belonging to clients of the law firm were found in a nearby dumpster unshredded.
We went out there and got them all out of this dumpster you're talking about.
Berg Legal Clinic says a secretary mistakenly dumped the documents that were supposed to be ripped by hand and thrown away. With some of 10 on Your Side's confrontations for 2003, Nicole Livas, Wavy News 10.
Confrontations sometimes mean going after the landlord or the tenant who's not upholding his part of the lease.
We profile these cases each week in Renters' Rights. We cover everything from tenants who are living in unsafe conditions and being ripped off to landlords who are being taken advantage of. Here's this year's Renters' Rights.
And we saw fire up here.
The safety of a Franklin woman and her 2 little girls was in danger because her windows would not open.
I came up like this, I pushed up on it, that broke.
All the windows have damp, moldy, rotten wood around the frames. A crowbar is needed to lift them.
And I pried this up.
The landlord, Marshall Bradley, said he wasn't intimidated by 10 on Your Side. But with our calls, this story, and added pressure from the city, he agreed to replace the windows.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what my rights were.
But Margaret Clark contacted 10 on Your Side. She discovered she had powers as a tenant. Clark began building a case against a landlord who refused to make repairs and would not return her security deposit.
Keep pictures, keep documents, keep every letter.
She took all her paperwork to court and won the case against the landlord.
$4,650 plus filing costs.
Stopped up toilets, water-soaked carpets, mounds of trash, enough to make you puke. But some Portsmouth residents were living in these conditions.
My toilet stool keep overflowing, and it's done led into my bathroom, out my bathroom, into my room, and the hallway, and downstairs.
Tenants blame this man, Emmanuel Sexton, the landlord who sold the place before the repairs.
There had been a stopped-up commode in Miss Sexton's house where she called before. Okay, our people went out and did repair it. Okay, what was found in there were toys.
After 10 on Your Side got involved, the new owner called a plumber and had the trash picked up.
I am so pissed. You just do not know. I'm angry.
The tables are turned in this story. A landlord needed help with a bad tenant.
She was paying me $50 and $100. That was 3 months ago. Then she just stopped paying me altogether.
This is Nancy Slavin. She stopped paying rent, damaged the house, and even changed the locks to keep the landlord out of her own home.
Why have you stopped paying rent?
I was in a car accident and just got back to work last week.
Finally, the landlord had her arrested and evicted. Renters' Rights is on each Wednesday at 5:30. We want to hear from tenants with renters' problems, and we also want to give equal time to the landlords.
That's right. Get a pen and paper ready, and we'll show you how to get in touch with us later in the show. Coming up, 10 on Your Side surprises some local viewers who made a big difference this year.
We're here actually to surprise you.
Shining star a little later. But right after the break,
And you don't have a mailbox.
10 on Your Side gets results. Next. That is what 10 on Your Side is all about.
Getting results, like in Bonnie Russell's case.
He contacted 10 on Your Side after he repeatedly called Cox Cable to correct his alarm system after they accidentally disarmed it.
Cox Cable is here this morning doing what they should have done a long time ago.
Cox Cable sent a technician over and paid for the repair of Bonnie Russell's alarm system after we did the story. Here's Stephanie Harris with more 10 on Your Side success stories.
What's in a name? Just ask Rodney Burnett. This soldier got slapped with $30,000 in child support payments just as he was packing to go to war.
You know, this kind of floored me because it was impossible for me to have had an illegitimate child anywhere.
Turns out there's another Rodney Burnett in the Army, and the child is his. Burnett knew it, the child's mother knew it, but it took 10 on Your Side to convince child support enforcement. Hours after we got involved, the agency issued an apology and promised to clear his credit.
Thank you so much for everybody at 10 that's helped me.
These Virginia Beach residents called 10 on Your Side furious over mailboxes, or rather lack of them. 4 months after they bought brand new townhouses, the builder hadn't put the mailboxes in, and residents had to make several trips a week to the post office.
The mailbox situation is really a pain in the neck for me personally because I have 5 children.
I'm not going to spend $2,000 on mailboxes. It's not necessary. It is a totally ridiculous requirement. Not going to do it.
Oh, yes, you are. This empty concrete slab had mailboxes on it just 1 week after our story first aired. 10 on Your Side is proud to have helped lots of people this year. But sometimes, in order to bring them good news, we first had to be the bearers of bad news.
Oh. Well, I didn't know that.
Neighbors in Chesapeake's Great Bridge area were shocked when 10 on Your Side told them this new construction, just blocks from 2 schools, was slated to become a parole office. They took quick action and got the governor's attention. Within days, he ordered the Department of Corrections to look for a new location. Finally, this woman was all shook up over an Elvis video she ordered but never received. Several strongly worded emails to the company got her nowhere, so she called 10 on Your Side. Just 1 day later, she got her video and a $20 refund.
Look for more 10 on Your Side success stories in 2004. Now, it was a year of surprises on our Kid Talk set.
Yeah, just as our show's name indicates, we let the kids do the talking about issues that are important to them. As Carolyn Castleberry reports, even those of us who are parents found ourselves stunned by what we heard.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Kid Talk. I'm your host, Carolyn Castleberry. For the last few weeks, Hampton Roads has been drawn to Virginia Beach.
And while many of us parents were riveted to both sniper trials, did you know your children were too?
I think that he shouldn't have terrorizing people. One thing that he did, he shot a lot of people for no reason.
Yeah. We were shocked at how much these 5th graders from Norview Elementary School knew about the cases, along with their strong opinions.
I think that Muhammad should get the life sentence and Mavo should get the death penalty since he had killed the people.
For teens, the talk is all about hitting the roads, driving restrictions in Virginia, and curfews in North Carolina.
Keeps them down. You know, the system wants to keep them down.
But some of the kids from First Colonial High School surprised us by how responsible they are, even when it's not cool.
As long as when you have people enter in your car and you say, you know, we're not going to have the music going real loud, I don't want you guys like throwing things or things like that, everybody's got to wear their seatbelts, people tend to respect that and you're okay.
And what is the coolest thing around for kids? Would you believe body art? You know, piercings and tattoos.
Like most people, they just want something on their body that stay there forever. That's why they get tattoos or body piercings.
Who would have thought it? 2003, another year of surprises on Kid Talk. I'm your host, Carolyn Castleberry.
You can watch Kid Talk every Saturday morning at 11:30 right here on Wavy TV 10.
As part of our commitment to helping others, 10 on Your Side partners up with Big Brothers and Big Sisters to help kids in our area find mentors. Don Roberts has more.
In January, we dug up this tape of a Big Brothers Big Sisters Christmas party from 1995. 12-year-old James Carter was in a single-parent home, and he'd been matched with Navy man John Curtis.
I always wanted a little brother. Never had one. I'm from a family of 10.
He takes me places, and I respect them.
8 years later, we tracked them down. James enlisted in the Army a year earlier, and John is a social worker at the Barry Robinson Center. They had plenty of memories.
Went out to the movies,
lectured. Whole lot.
And John benefited from the relationship too.
Oh, no doubt. It goes both ways.
As Big Brothers Big Sisters has been saying all along, mentors make a difference. Biker dude Xavier and his sister Brittany met us at Children's Museum 2 years ago, hoping to be adopted, and Patricia White of Suffolk welcomed them into her family. This was 12-year-old Ryan back in 1997, looking for a mentor.
I remember the last time I was here, there was a big machine.
And he found Tommy Gear. They've been buddies since.
Jade's been with me since she was 6 months old.
October 1994, Jade was enjoying lunch with her adoptive mom, Benita Williams of Virginia Beach. Fast forward 9 years later and check out her growing family.
This is Christian Williams. He is 8. And this is Jade. Jade is 13.
Adoptive families and mentors making a difference in 2003.
If you know of a child in need of a mentor, contact Big Brothers Big Sisters in your area.
And you can watch Wednesday's Child every Wednesday at 5:30 right here on Wavy TV 10.
Coming up right after the break, Shining Stars.
As this week's 10 on Your Side Shining Star.
And a closer look into the lives of men and women serving our country next. Welcome back. 10 on Your Side had a number of success stories in 2003, and a lot of that success was due to the kindness of others.
Yeah, you might recall a story we aired back in July. Hundreds of residents at a local apartment complex didn't have AC. Farm Fresh donated hundreds of bottles of water and ice, and Senior Services donated fans for the elderly.
It's generosity like that that makes Hampton Roads a special place. Here's Tracy Moynihan with other stories that you, the viewer, helped make happen.
We can't thank you enough. I'm serious.
Well,
we really can't.
We'll get you a good window in here, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Robin Hall received a free window from Window World. They were kind enough to donate after they heard about Hall's misfortune. You see, months ago, Hall ordered and paid for a window from All American Window Company of Virginia. She says when the window was installed, it broke, and the company never came out to fix it.
My window has been broken since the day you installed it. You left the site to go and get another replacement window. It never came. It has never come.
10 on Your Side stepped in, and so did you.
This is like Christmas. This is great.
Well,
this is great. This is unbelievable. This is so great.
Now, right after Hurricane Isabel, it took days, even weeks, to get everybody's electricity back on. That meant no lights, no AC, no refrigerators. If you had ice to sell in Hampton Roads, you might as well have been selling gold. So the folks at Mart Group Companies and APM Terminals teamed up with 10 on Your Side and helped distribute 55,000 bags of ice across southeastern Virginia. And while many of you were living in the dark, your friends at 10 on Your Side were working nonstop, bringing you the pictures of Isabel's destruction. When the lights came back on, we aired a 3-hour special and sold copies to raise money for the American Red Cross. You helped us raise more than $21,000. From windows to hurricanes and even a surprise wedding, you chipped in. In March, many of you helped 10 on Your Side pull off a major surprise for one Coast Guard member. His bride-to-be surprised him dressed in a wedding gown as his Coast Guard cutter returned from deployment.
See, is that him up there? That's him. Do you want to get married?
While Trisha Adams already had her dream dress, we couldn't have her getting married without flowers and a special honeymoon surprise. A Portsmouth florist donated these gorgeous roses, and the Renaissance Hotel in Portsmouth gave the happy couple a free room for the night.
I have the pleasure this moment of pronouncing that you are now husband and wife, and you may kiss your bride.
Tracy Moynihan, 10 on Your Side.
Many people in Hampton Roads go out of their way to make lives of others better, to be a good neighbor, to be kind and generous. That's what Shining Star is all about. Here's Alveda Yule with this year's Shining Stars.
And I'll just say, thank you, Lord.
How could anyone forget Queenie Miller? She's the sunshine of Marion Manor Retirement Center. And 81-year-old Capitolia Anderson is the sunshine of Sunnybrook, day school that is, and has been for more than 37 years.
The whole school is just special. I've never had a job that I didn't want to go to. And it's always been a joy. The people or my family.
Lieutenant Jimmy Deal is also trained to keep people safe. He's a lieutenant with the Chesapeake Fire Department. But perhaps nothing could have prepared him for the honor his next-door neighbor gave him for saving the life of their drowning little boy. And little boys and girls are the heart of this man, teacher, administrator, and role model, Preston Hartz.
So when I come into this building, I've already asked the Lord to order my steps and guide my tongue, that I may project out of my mouth words of hope and words of life and words that will turn somebody around.
But perhaps it was this little boy who spread unconditional love and touched the hearts of so many people he met in spite of his rare disease. Little Edwin Mercedes passed away of adrenoleukodystrophy only one day after he received his Shining Star Award.
We're here actually to surprise you.
You did.
Because you're the reason why he's an honor student today.
And perhaps no one could be more proud than David Yee for having a mentor like Master Dong Kim.
God, we pray that we have a good practice.
And these little leaguers are playing football God's way.
You two have been nominated as this week's 10 on Your Side Shining Star with Wavy TV 10.
So remember, it doesn't matter when you receive this pin and these flowers, you will always be a 10 on your side Shining Star.
If you know someone who is a shining star, contact us here at the station so we can honor those who make a difference.
Big dogs about to pass.
Perhaps no community in America was more affected by the war than right here in Hampton Roads. With one of the world's largest military communities right here, every branch of the service played a part, leaving behind thousands of very worried families.
Our military reporter, Patty Colhane, takes a look back at the heroic deeds and the dedication of our local military personnel and the role they played in the war.
The marching orders came early in the year, all across Hampton Roads, regardless of the uniform they wore. Tens of thousands of military men and women found themselves saying that long goodbye.
Love you. Be good, okay?
As the piers emptied out, it seemed at times like the entire Atlantic fleet surged to the Gulf. The transit tumultuous, and it wasn't the weather, but the political landscape rocking the boat. The country was divided, and so were the crews.
I mean, some will say, yeah, he could be a bad person, but I mean, I ain't God, and I can't just say, okay, you're a bad person, you deserve to die.
This crew seemed to be, the move seemed to be a little confusing.
Unlike the last year and the last war, there was not a sense of unity this time. The long wait for war, a big reason for the debate on board.
I think the feeling on board is when America goes to war, all of America will be behind us.
And then the first shots were fired in the ready rooms, locally based pilots prepared to take on a familiar enemy. They found Iraqis hardly fought back at all, not flying, just throwing up missiles, too afraid to target American jets with radar-guided systems.
Just because they're not lighting up doesn't mean they're not shooting at us.
This local pilot had a close call, though.
After the initial ejection, we go out. Okay, I made it out of the airplane. I feel pretty good. The way our parachutes are rigged, they're open at specific altitude, so we free fell for quite a long time in the pitch black out there. That was probably the scariest part of the whole thing.
Other local fighters just frustrated they couldn't get into the fight. Remember the squabbles with Turkey? That kept a large number of Hampton Roads military on the sidelines.
About 30% of a ground fighting force and 25% of the planned Air Force not being able to participate had a huge impact on the war, and I think the fighting would be over with a lot less casualties if we were allowed to play.
During the war, Wavy News 10 was committed to keeping you in touch with local troops. With SatPhone 10, we took you halfway across the world, with stops in Sicily, Crete, Cyprus, and eventually all the way into Baghdad. And then we came back home, and so did the troops.
Oh, very, very long. I'm so happy to be home.
Home to a hero's welcome, but a lot of catching up to do. For 10 on Your Side, I'm Patty Colhane, Wavy News 10.
It's important to remember that the war effort continues to affect Hampton Roads. The Enterprise Strike Group is still overseas, the George Washington next in line to go. Wherever this story goes, you can count on 10 on Your Side to take you every step of the way.
Every day, 10 on Your Side gets tons of letters, emails, and hundreds of telephone calls. If you need 10 on Your Side to investigate a story, here's how you contact us. Send a letter to this address, 300 Wavy Street, Portsmouth, Virginia 23704. Or you can send an email by logging on to wavy.com, or you can give us a call on the 10 on Your Side hotline number. That number is 673-5310 for more information. We want to give a special thanks to the men and women serving our country in the War on Terror and the war in Iraq, especially those who lost their lives this year fighting for freedom. We leave you tonight with those who were killed in 2003 and have ties right here to Hampton Roads.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.